Hey, what's up? It's another episode of Watch U Strappin. These are not watch reviews. It's just a quick wristwatch check of the day with a particular strap pairing. And this is the first time, usually it's something that I've, an aftermarket option that I just want to show, give some people ideas, maybe what they can do with their own watch if they have the same model or something very similar. These could also be considered like an extended watch review, although I have not done a watch review on this because this is a pretty new watch. Just had it for maybe just over 2 weeks, so that will come later. But this you could consider as part of a review, or just basically supplemental information, just ongoing user experience that I add into a particular watch that I own. Right now, this is the Seiko Prospex Lux. If you want to be very specific, it's under the Prospex Lux line of watches, the Marinemaster, as you can see on the dial. This is the 6LA, oh no, sorry, not 6L, SLA077. I can't remember what it is in the other reference number that's not, that's in Japan, but if I can remember it, I'll probably look it up. I'll include it in the description. But anyways, basically it will be the same watch. Yeah, love this watch. I've just been looking for a white dial, black bezel dial for a while. It's just a thing that I just kind of got into. Started back, as I mentioned in some other videos, with my Tag Heuer watch that I bought for myself back in 1994 that is, depending on when you're watching this video. And yeah, and since then, I mean, it hasn't been a consistent thing. That was my main watch for 12 years, and then I lost it somehow. Anyways, fast forward to now, I've been through several, lots of different type watches and all sorts of colors, but I always try to find, more recently, let's say within the last 4 or 5 years, some sort of watch that would fill that space that used to occupy with my Tag Heuer. And I've done it through mods, bought certain watches, several watches, but they never stuck around. And then this one came out. I was like, yes, this is it. I think this is going to be the one. It's not a true white dial, as you can see. It's more of a, I would classify as an opaline white dial. It's got that slight silver look to it, but it's got this nice fine grainy texture to it as well. I hope to kind of tone things and matte things down, but gives that subtle visual interest, especially if you can get up close. But for the most part, you look away, you look at it in contrast to the black bezel, and we're talking about the strap in a moment, and against actually the silver case, it doesn't look, silver. It looks, for all intents and purposes, visually, I'd say 95% at least of the time, it basically appears as white, which is plenty fine with me. This works. And I'll get back into the watch in a moment, but this is the first aftermarket, sort of, so to speak, because this is an OEM factory strap, but not for this watch. But there's another strap option that I got, the first one I got off of this, on this watch, off of the stock bracelet that it came with. And this is, I can't remember the name. It's under this this part of, you probably can't read it. Let me see if I can lift it up. Nope, I will put it in the description, because I'm not good with code or model numbers for straps if they don't have a specific name, but it'll be in the description. This is something that was, I believe, included with another Marinemaster. Damn it, I should have looked it up. It's something, is it SLA001, or is it one of the SBDC ones? Sorry, it's probably an SLA, but again, I'll put it in the description of the video. But yeah, it's a OEM strap option. I I don't know what you would describe this. This kind of has like these little pyramids, which is indicative of, say, like the waffle style straps. I guess that's what they would call it. Although, you know, true waffles don't really look like that. They don't have pyramids. It will be the inverse. Those maybe at best, those pyramids would not be popping up, but actually going into the dial, into the strap rather. Sorry, but people call it the waffle strap. And it has that kind of pattern there, but I think the pyramids are a bit more pointed or defined. Those tend to be a bit softer on the said waffle straps. And just back it up a little bit. And I don't usually like to shoot like this because it's very wide angle and it tends to make the watch look bigger and wear larger on wrist than it is. So we're gonna do a little telly again. And some people call this style of strap with the, when it goes undulates up and down like this, like an accordion style. I'm sure there's another name for it, but it's kind of a mix of these two. And yeah, I think it looks cool. I mean, it was an option for a Marinemaster, and I think it looks appropriate. Just a nice classic black rubber strap, pretty good quality. It is a bit stiff, but once you wear it and, you know, it warms up and conforms to your wrist, is fine. You know, you can see it actually gets a little bit wider right off of the between the 20mm spacing there, and so I would reckon it basically widens really quickly to about 22 or so millimeters. That's what it looks like, about a millimeter on either side, and then it just tapers. And I believe, is it a straight taper? No, it probably gets down to about 18 right down here. And it's got this like texture that goes all along the strap here. Just kind of a, I don't know, you call it striping or groove, but it sort of matches where these I guess these pyramids are, but then it just stops making them and just straight, which is fine. I think it looks good like that. I like the fact that it actually has like a solid like, it looks like a double keeper, but it's just the way they designed this keeper is just a little bit bigger, just to hold down that end, the loose end. And it's not metal. The metal ones that you might see on some stock you know, Seiko dive watches, the rubber straps, it looks kind of nice, but in actuality I find that when I'm adjusting on the wrist, they tend to pinch or snag or something on my, you know, my skin as you're trying to do it. It's just the nature of how thin that metal is on the backside between your wrist and the strap. When you're trying to move it up or down, it can kind of catch, especially if you're a little bit sweaty around the wrist. It kind of sticks more. You know, you might know what I'm talking about. And more importantly, they tend to make them a little bit too loose. You know, there's just a little, I think they're just a bit there's too much of an opening in those metal keepers. And so the keeper can still tend to slide up and down a bit and doesn't feel like it's really holding down that loose end as well as it could. I think they should at least tighten it down, like reduce that space, you know, make it a little bit thinner, I guess, technically, so it doesn't raise up and, you know, over the strap as much, so keep it tighter. But anyways, they did that, I might be okay with it more, but I do prefer the rubber. It's just I don't know, I think it just works better and it's generally more comfortable actually. And yes, this strap is a bit on the long side. For reference, I have about a 7-inch wrist, and you know, usually I wouldn't want the tail end, like I guess the tongue or whatever you want to call this part, the tip, sticking up a bit. But you know, this is actually regarded, I would definitely regard this as a true, like, you know, utility, like dive strap. So it's meant to be strapped over like, you know, an extra layer, such as a dive suit, right, wetsuit. And so you wouldn't have as much here, but that's why you got so many holes here. I mean, way more than I would imagine most people's wrists can get up to. It's beyond even a 9-inch wrist, I would imagine, with these holes. But anyways, yeah, you know, because I know this is like for a, you know, as a true dive, you know, strap for that purpose, I kind of give it a little bit of slack on it being a little bit on the long side, and just kind of, it's good though. It doesn't go, you know, it doesn't go super high where it's like at the same level as the watch or even the lugs, if you know what I mean. It's still under that level. You can see here well below it. You know, it doesn't like stick up all the way up so that it's like, you know, really, like, really, that would look really bad. I don't think I can handle that. This is just enough for my wrist. Now you got a smaller wrist, smaller than 7 inches. You might be starting to push that, you know, a bit. You know, just that keeper can only go up about this high, unless you can get fancy with where it goes over this under, you know, the up and down part here. But for the most part, that's where it's gonna stop. And so anything else that's loose, that's sticking up, is just, you know, obviously you got a small wrist, then mine is gonna be even longer at the end and stick up that much more. I think this is just at that limit. Yeah, and you can still see that wave logo printed on there, or embedded. Yeah, but yeah, that would stick up too much, so you might have to look elsewhere if you have a much smaller wrist than 7 inches. But unless you don't mind that look, you know, but you probably might. So that's about it. Yeah, I think this is a cool looking strap. I've been wanting to, this is going to be a strap monster anyways. I'm glad that has drove through lug holes like a lot of Seiko dive watches do, but you know, just this general design and 20mm lug width, that's great. And the size of this watch is pretty awesome. It's about 42, roughly 42 and a half, give or take like a point something millimeter, but basically 42 and a half, very close to an SKX size. SKS does or will probably have a more cushiony and definitely shorter lug, so that's what could give into such an SKX to possibly wear slightly smaller visually on wrist, but for the most part, you know, it'll basically wear very similar to this. I mean, the height is about the same too. They're roughly a little bit over 13mm thick, which is fine for a 300-meter dive watch, I think. And this has nice wrist presence without being, like, I think, overly too much, at least for my wrist. You got like an 8-inch or something. This may still seem a little small to you, possibly. I think it should be okay. But yeah, that's about it. I need to get my ass going today. I just want to get this video in while I can, and just share my thoughts, and just this pairing. I think it's going to be on this for a little bit. I do have some other ones, definitely got a lot other ones to share, but this is the first one of many. Anyways, thanks for watching, and enjoy your watches. I know this is going to be one of the main ones I'm going to be enjoying moving forward, and I look forward to doing an updated state of the collection video, because there's definitely been some big changes. Thanks, and enjoy your watches again. Bye.